scapegoat. The Germans never had a vote to enter this. The Germans don't want to bail out. They want out of the euro. They don't want to give people money. Continuing, Le Snub, moment Sarkozy dodges Cameron's handshake with a swift body swerve after Prime Minister says no to treaty changes. So here's another one, Merkozy, that's Merkel and Sarkozy combined. Letter to EU, now is the time to strip countries of sovereignty. I mean, they admit they won't even be countries anymore. Unbelievable. Here's another one. UN calls for eco-fascist world government at Durban summit. And we are going to have Lord Christopher Monckton on tonight from South Africa. Bureaucrats in the UN climate summit in Durban have outlined plans for the most draconian, harebrained, and madcap climate change treaty ever produced. And each country and each individual will have their climate debt, of course, paid to the bankers. You can't make this up. And that dovetails with dust from hay, $10,000 fine. Tilling the soil a crime against Earth. Here in America, of course, not on other countries. It's the globalists have invested in other countries. They want to shut us down. Oh, my gosh. Continuing here, we've got all of those reports. By the way, that's out of the Hill newspaper. That's not me saying that. You can't make this stuff up. Hey, you can't have a garden in your yard. Hey, you can't sell lemonade. Hey, you can't sell raw milk. The Austin police chief didn't believe me when I said, no, they arrest people for selling raw milk. No, they have year-long stings. He's like, come on, Alex, knock it off. I mean, I don't know how he could be charming and seem smart, the Austin police chief, and not know all this stuff's going on. I mean, who are these people in the system that are just so willfully ignorant of everything? Now, he didn't try to weasel out of the whole thing with the Fast and Furious, which is confirmed now to be totally staged in the government memos, to be blamed on the Second Amendment. I want to get Bob's take on that. And also, speaking of that, Eric Holder yesterday, we played the clip in the first hour, he says that no one at the DOJ has ever lied. And that even though they said that they weren't over it, it was their intent. Yes, they knowingly lied, but they didn't intend to mislead Congress. More lawyer games. Bob Chapman, what do you make of the Fast and Furious, the latest information on that front? And then what do you make of, in Tennessee, News 5 reports, they are going door to door asking about firearms, guns, preparedness. And the article's like it's no big deal. It's just innocuous. Doesn't mention that. We've talked to the folks on the ground. It says there's 22 questions, but they don't, Bob, they don't ask you, about things except your food and firearms and stuff. But the article doesn't even tell people that. Bob, what's your take on just all this craziness?
Well, they're lining everybody up. They'll test it there in Tennessee, and the next thing you know, it'll be all over the country, and everybody will expect it. And they'll come with their questions, and you answer their questions. It's just that you don't tell them you get food. You don't tell them that you grow food in the backyard. You don't tell them you got any guns. If they ask you, say no.
Well,
you're not under subpoena. You don't have to tell them anything.
Yeah, I don't even answer the door. And when the census person keeps banging open the door, and I say, look, criminal, I don't care that you're a monkey and got a tag. They're saying you're some federal officer. It's illegal to come here and ask me all these questions. You can ask me, how many people live here? Now, are you going to leave if I tell you that? Or are you going to sit there with your fake 50-question garbage? And they say, sir, it is the law. And I go, then call the cops. I slam the door on them. I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, that bears out what I'm saying. Don't tell them. Lie to them. I mean, that's all they do. I mean, let's play their game. And so you don't tell them you've got anything. And as we now know, they're going to bulk food manufacturers and asking, which we did a program on, I guess, yesterday, who's buying all the food. And that's why I told, I started telling people to buy food in 1965. Now, of course, the two batches they bought in between they've eaten since, but the food was always good. And it's better today the way it's prepared. But like Steve said, it is the most important thing besides water. I mean, you've got to have those two things. And you don't want to let the government or anybody else know what you've got.
Well, I mean, the fact that
grandchildren, don't you tell anything to anybody about anything that you've got.
What do you think of Holder just caught red-handed lying and saying, well, I didn't intend to mislead you. You know, in certified testimony, he was running the whole operation. It's all been confirmed. And he just sits there and says, well, I didn't mean to be misleading when I lied to you. I mean, what an incredible criminal.
Well, that's right. And that's what this has evolved to. There's always been lying. You know, go back to the 3rd century before Christ. You've got the same thing. But it has been refined today into a very fine art. And they all do it. It's a criminal syndicate, and you can expect them from them. You can't expect a level playing field or a fair legal field for you to operate in. You can't count on the courts and the law to defend you. You've got to do what you have to do to survive. And
yeah, some people say, well, why should I have gold or silver or firearms? They might take it. Well, why not go jump off a cliff now because somebody might kill you? The world's always tried to take what you've got. That's why we've had checks and balances to try to protect ourselves. Now they're going out the window. We're all in danger. What do you make of the NDAA passing and the indefinite detention of citizens, military on the street, them undoing that now, and the FEMA documents we got where they've got Kellogg, Brown, and Root, who built the camps, that's Wall Street Journal 6 years ago, now actually preparing to man them. Does that not show us that they're really concerned about collapse?
Yeah, and the outcome of collapse, which is chaos, and they'll put people in these camps to save them from all the chaos, when in fact it's a suppression technique. But it was to be expected because America didn't do what it could have done during the 70s and 80s and 90s to stop these people. Nobody wanted to pay attention, and they're still in denial. And they're getting information now from yourself and others all over the world, and there's no excuse for them to be in the position that they're in today. And
yeah, but I've been to I've been to a picnic, a rodeo, and a World's Fair, and I've never seen, Bob, them actually prepare to activate the camps and to fully staff them. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's true. And now they have the reason to do it through this legislation. And, of course, throwing these senators out of office and the congressmen at the House, that's going to help. But it's a little bit late, isn't it? I mean, this shows you the dynamics, the absolute positive reason to have Ron Paul as our next president and people like him in Congress. If we can accomplish that, we can beat these people. We could turn all this stuff around.
By the way, there's hit pieces out today by the dozen saying Ron Paul, okay, he's probably going to win Iowa, but it's just a fluke, ignore him. He's been in 2nd or 3rd place for the last 6 months. Everybody else falls by the wayside. There are so many skeletons in Gingrich's closet that he'll never be president. He's a ringer. I mean, and they keep trying the mantra, Ron Paul can't win, Ron Paul can't win. God literally always works this way. Here is a great part of the solution, a sign that America wants to go back to the Constitution. Here he is on a silver platter. But you notice he's not, a Ken doll liar, with a cutesy suit and everything. He's an old man, but he's a statesman and a scholar. Here is our chance. And if America lets these criminals keep us from electing Ron Paul, but see, here's the thing. They know Iowa's a caucus state where it's old-fashioned hands. That's why they know he's going to win. They plan on cheating in the other areas with the machines. But again, they're so scared, Bob, because if he wins in Iowa and then starts winning in landslides, then their machines, it's been proven, get caught if they can only cheat in 5 to 10 point increments. They can't, too big a cheat from the experts I agree with, Bev Harris and others, too big a cheat, they can't do it.
Well, let's put them there. It means the existence of every one of you, children, grandchildren, all your progeny for centuries to come will even live in bondage if you don't elect that man. I can't tell you strongly enough. I've been in this for 53 years, and his life has run parallel to mine. Only he was a doctor and I was a stockbroker. But we're only 2 months apart. That has nothing to do with anything. But anyway.
No, it does. I mean, people that you're born, people that you're born at the same time, you're from the same culture, same everything. It's same experiences. I mean, it's like broodmates or something. Now, I want to go to Tim, Nancy, John, Kevin, and Phil, and we'll do a little bit of overdrive. We'll finish that with Bob Chapman. But I briefly wanted to do some plugs here. You can get a free year subscription either in hard copy or digital, which is a $159 value when you buy one gold franc from Midas Resources. And the gold franc's at a great price, 800-686-2237. If you want to get a complimentary copy, you can just call and they'll send you a hard copy or an email version. It is invaluable reading. Again, you can go to Midas Resources and find that online, or 800-686-2237. And lastly, we're only running this until Christmas. All 18 of my films on DVD for $99.95. That's 70% off. I've never offered anything even near this. I mean, I've never even offered 50% off on the Everything Special. This is 70% off, and you can do all your Christmas shopping at once and support the InfoWar. You know we're fighting hard, folks. You know we're at the tip of the spear here. So, again, you can get all 18 of my films that are on DVD, Infowars.com, and In the Fed bumper stickers and a Citizen Rule book. All of that, $99.95. And we're running a special right now, 70% off with that special, 44% off on a yearly membership for the nightly news and the daily video stream of the show and all the films at prisonplanet.tv. And a few months ago, we got a lot of new members, and it would kind of get slow at times and stuff, but we've upgraded everything now. It's super fast, even at peak times. And I appreciate all of you that are prisonplanet.tv members. Again, prisonplanet.tv if you need any help or have any questions about signing up. People keep asking about signing up without using a credit card. We've got a deal where you can call us and do that. And I think I'm going to start a deal where you just order it online if you want, or call us, and then we just mail you a card with a username and passcode we make up. But you can call us and set it up that way as well, but we're going to develop that system. So 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. And as long as you get your order into us by the 19th, even by mail, we can guarantee it for Christmas delivery. The P.O. Box is P.O. Box 19549, P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas, 78760. All right, let's go to some calls here and then some more news with Bob Chapman. Tim in Washington, you're on the air with your question for Bob.
Yes, I was curious to find out if you guys have a ratio in your head that's going to trigger a banker collapse or a bank run in America. Well,
there's already bank runs all over Europe centering around Greece because the government's just taking it out through wire transfers, paying it directly to the bankers. Bob Chapman, a metric or numbers to look for or signs of an impending bank run or holiday?
Well, I think the best thing to do in the country that you're in is talk to people who work in banks. And say, do you have a lot of people taking money out? And the teller, if you may, says, do we? I don't know how much it is, but it's a lot. And that's the way you find out. Like when we were on a lot, you and I, in Greece over the last couple of years, I've been telling everybody, get your euros out of the bank. And they're doing it. What are they withdrawing? Probably 1/3 to 40% of the money. And in each country, it's going to continue. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. I told people to get your euros out of the bank in Germany and France and all these other places. Take the money and buy gold and silver, whatever way you can. The best deals you can make for yourself.
And by the way, MF Global is causing people to get their money out of the bank as well. Sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
And if you have gold coins, you can get out of harm's way. I mean, what do you think? For centuries, the British and other armed forces have sewn in British sovereigns into the clothing of airmen and others as well. And they still do it. I don't know what coins they're using right now, but they
use sovereigns.
They use people write to me and tell me.
No, they use quarter-ounce British sovereigns. Even their soldiers in the field are issued them. Let's go ahead and talk to John in Ohio. You're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, John.
A hugely important article by the former Pakistan chief of the Pakistan military that completely blows away this phony war on terror. And if you can get it, Alex, it's called ISAF, Aggression Against Pakistan. ISAF standing for the NATO. And he says those 28 Pakistani soldiers who were killed by the drone a couple of weeks ago were not only deliberately murdered, but they were killed because they were attacking Al-Qaeda forces there, and these Al-Qaeda forces sent an SOS to NATO and American aircraft and gunships who rushed to the rescue of these trapped militants. And he says the 2 Pakistani posts came under intense fire from NATO. The Pakistani officer commanding the post immediately